Bwah, bwah, bwah. It's another TromBonus episode. It's just Rob, Engineer Joey, and a pocket full of dreams as we go down to Mesa Town to see what the fuck is going down. That's right, we're covering skate punk Ska'd dabblers Authority Zero on Checkered Past, the Ska'd cast.
They got puns, taking pros bar none. Scar's the game, come on everyone. Not too long, neither is this long. Checkered past, man, you can't go wrong. It's a TromBonus episode.
What up, Checkerheads? Welcome to Checkered Past, the Ska'd cast with Celine and Rob, the show where a Grand Canyon Costello and a University of Phi Nick Hexum explore the history and impact of a different band each episode and hope to bring in new fans along the way. I'm Rob, and this is my TromBonus co-host, Engineer Joey.
Hello, it's me, Engineer Joey.
Grand Canyon Costello. That's what I couldn't... It's Grand Canyon.
Okay, and then the other one was a...
University of Phi Nick Hexum.
I don't know if I like that one or not.
University of Phi Nick Hexum.
Phi Nick Hexum.
Right, from 311.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm aware. Amber is the color of his energy. Yep.
Yes.
Also the color of their university.
Yeah. Anyway, slanted rhymes. That's
Yeah,
okay.
you may have noticed that there was a new TromBonus theme song today. Our good friend Keelan, I believe his Twitter handle is at Keelan Malo Smith on the tweets, submitted that for us. And yeah, it's fucking awesome. It's very cool to have our friends send us music. And he's friend of the pod and friend in real life. So
Yeah, we thought it was nice to kind of mix it up a little bit, have like a different theme for the TromBonuses. That way you know what you're getting in for. Right. We, of course, will still have the wonderful Mad Bomber theme.
of course.
That we will hold on to, of which I am not confident they've heard an episode. That's fine.
That's fine.
Have we talked to them recently? Celine must have.
No.
No.
So since we okayed the use of the song,
Since
we
we're
still
like, hey,
haven't
can we-
started making money, so the agreement is we don't have to tell them anything about it until we start making money that we have to give them. So
Oh, is that what it was?
I don't know.
I don't even think that. I think they just said,
Yeah, they're
don't be shitheads, don't be hateful.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right? And we're like, no problem. And also, I don't know, no one's going to listen to it. Although, way more people listen to this show than I had any
How
thought of.
many people, Rob?
We just crossed over 10,000 listens total since we started, which is, you know, we're not hitting in defensive ska numbers by any means, but that is still bananas. And we thank each and every person that listens to this show with the bottom of our hearts, because we are not professionals. We're not, we weren't in the ska music scene. We didn't, write a best-selling book. We had no clout whatsoever.
Just started dropping stupid episodes.
Literally
and y'all liked it.
opened the Twitter account and Instagram account like 2 months before we dropped an episode and just went at it. Organic growth. Isn't that what they call it in the
Yeah.
indie pod sphere?
I believe so.
Organic growth. Well, today it's TromBonus time. And so we had a suggestion on the old Patreon. So we get all our TromBonuses nowadays from suggestions from our patrons through the Discord. If you'd like to sign up, patreon.com/Checkered Past for $3.50. You can join the official Checkerheads and get on the Discord, start chatting, and start suggesting stuff. So this is from eChub on the Discord, one of our OGs. Recommended a couple bands, actually said Authority Zero as a band, and also the Bastard Sons, which I might keep that as another one for the future, because I don't think enough people know who they even are, but that would be a really good band to do in the future. But Authority Zero is the band we're going to talk about today.
Hell yeah.
So, Joey, Authority Zero, what do you know about them? What is your history?
Authority Zero, I remember when they first started coming through Edmonton. I don't think I saw the first show. I think the first time they came through Alberta, they were on a Warp Tour. The one before the first one I went to, I think, if I'm getting my timeline in my brain correct. And then I saw them at the Warp Tour that I went to. I think it would have been 2006-ish, 2007, something like that. And then after that, there was like in the intervening between like that time and like 2010, there was about 15 or 20 small fest shows that came through Edmonton where they would just kind of like lump bands that were touring across Canada together and call it Snow Jam or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
They would make up a name for it, right? and Authority Zero zipped through 6 times through those. Like I saw them. It seemed like they opened every show that had 6 bands for a long time. So I saw them a lot. We listened to them a lot in the party house.
Oh, yeah.
And actually today, I was at work and I was listening to all of the crazy new ska that dropped today.
Yeah. It is May 27th.
Yeah, the Jer album dropped, and the Frighteners album dropped, and the Bruce Lee Band album drops. There's so much good music. So I was listening to that on my little Bluetooth, and then over like the bigger speakers in the mechanic area, they didn't play music all day, and then they turned it on, and it just happened to be the This Is Authority Zero playlist on Spotify. So I was like dicking around. I listened to 2 or 3 songs. I was like, are you guys listening to Authority Zero? Josh was like, yup. I was like, we're doing an episode about them in like 5 hours. Sweet.
Authority Zero, for those who don't know who they are from Arizona, so from the punk rock capital of North America, Arizona.
Yeah, I know nothing about their history.
But just to give you like, we'll do a little bit of history, a little shallow dive for TromBonus' sake. They have real backward baseball cap energy. This is like skate punk ishness, like Pennywise, Bad Religion,
family for sure.
No Effects. This is like early Epitaph, middle Fat Records type stuff.
Yeah.
And that plays big in Edmonton.
Absolutely.
That's on that, like Sonic, our alternative radio station, plays a lot of that type of music. Mm-hmm. Like if there's a new Bad Religion album out, they're playing like every song on there. Like
Bad Religion.
And 30 definitely fits that. Their biggest difference is that they are not shy about how much they fucking love Sublime. And Off Ivy,
I would say.
Yeah, of course. Like
pretty
that
heavy Off Ivy influence.
There's ska punkiness.
Yeah.
But like they have some real allegiance to the Brad Knowles of the world.
For sure.
So, and they've appeared on a few Sublime-ish compilations. I can't remember what the most recent one was, but it's like In Love of Bradley or Bradley's House, or I don't know, I had some name like that. But although that sounds like a sitcom.
Bradley's House.
Yeah.
Just a guy with no shirt and sunglasses doing heroin.
Doing heroin, doing a lot of heroin. It's really boring. There's no jokes.
Oh no! All the comedic timing and stuff is just his family doing stuff around him while he just chills out and hangs out with his dog.
And Butch comes in. I don't know. Isn't that one of the guys from Sublime?
I don't think so.
No? Okay.
Bud. I think that's
Bud.
the thing.
Oh, yeah.
Bud.
Whoops. I don't know anything about Sublime. I don't have a tattoo.
Some people do.
Some people do. Some people have Sublime tattoos. So anyway, Authority Zero, they were founded in 94, but didn't actually release their first full-length album until 2002?
That's wild.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Like, they didn't get a record deal for 8 years.
And they didn't even do like a DIY one. They were just playing shows for that long.
They did
That's fucking crazy.
They did a self-released EP
they did a self-released
in like 2000. Still,
wow. That's a long time to be a band and not put out any recorded material. Holy smokes.
And if they did, it was probably super local, like on cassette. Yeah. And got no head of steam until 2000, 2001.
Crazy.
Like they founded when that kind of punk music was mainstream. Like, you know, like they arguably could have been a band way sooner.
Their sound it sounds like that.
Yeah.
Like of the bands of the same ilk in the mid 2000s when I was seeing Authority Zero sounded more like the headliners who were the big bands in 95, 96.
Yeah, they were like the young version. Like nowadays, like Chaser is like the band that kind of sounds a little bit like that.
Yeah.
Where they sound like kind of ripped out of like LA punk music from years ago. But I mean, when they would have been coming out for the first time and on those Warped tours, they would have been really out of place amongst all those like Drive-Thru Records bands.
This was right before that Drive-Thru Records wave hit. When I went,
You think so? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
because when I went to that Warped tour, it was still like NoFX, Pennywise, Suicide Machines, these guys, Horror Pops.
Sure.
It was right before that wave of the more emo centric.
Yeah, and
stuff.
I'm even looking at who they were touring with during the first little period, and No Use for a Name, Sum 41. That makes a lot of sense.
Yep. Those
Guttermouth, H2O.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Love
in
No
there.
Use for a Name.
Oh yeah, R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P. So sad I
yeah.
only got to see him one time.
No Use for a Name was sick. Yeah. That's like a type of music that's normally too poppy for me, but I do like No Use for a Name. I feel like they play fast.
Their
enough.
Live in a Dive record is the best. It's
One
like,
of the best live punk records ever.
Yeah, totally.
Like that with like the Adolescence punk like live record. Oh, unreal.
Yeah.
So let's just play one of their bigger punk songs so that you can kind of get a feel for like what their normal sound is, what a typical Authority Zero record would sound like. So the song's called Revolution. Harmonic bass.
It's like that Blink-182 song. Yeah, straight out of the No Use for a Name playbook. Same one I copied all the time. Even in those two lines, though, you can tell this guy's voice is out of control.
He's a very good singer.
Yeah.
Very good singer. Jason DeVore is
He
the singer.
can sing very, very fast, which I'm sure we'll bring up at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get into that when we get into like the live stuff.
This song rips, actually.
Oh.
I remember this song now, once we got into the chorus. Yeah.
This was on their second album, Andiamo. But that's pretty typical. They'll play some songs a little bit faster than that, but yeah, hooky,
Yeah, kind of mid-tempo
skate punk.
Yeah.
This one is one of their most streamed songs. I think it was on a video game or something.
Maybe that's why I know it so well.
yeah.
I definitely, that's a song that I've heard a gajillion times, probably on a compilation or something.
But we won't be focused on their punk stuff. We're going to talk ska, reggae. We're going to do Checkered Past. So let's tarry no further. Let's get into Authority Zero. Let's talk about from their first album, A Passage in Time. This song's called Over Seasons.
It's a good song.
This Mad Brad vibes.
Yeah.
Don't love the faking Jamaican
Yeah,
a
that's
little
not
bit.
great.
I feel like he doesn't do that as much in the future. I feel like it was really bad on this one, but
I like the kind of like dubby, like overly emphasized echo they have on his voice for whatever reason.
yeah.
Sounds cool.
There's also a lot of surf on that first record, which I almost forgot about. The surfy with the drums.
Yeah.
I feel like this song is decently popular too, right?
Yeah,
we've heard it
this is-
before.
What album was this from?
Passage in Time, the first one.
Yeah, this album was a regular play for sure around our house back in the day.
Their first two records were on a major, so they got pushed around a lot. It's actually the second one, which we'll get to right away, that I first heard them, and yeah, because it had massive distribution. So guitar question: how do you feel? So they play like just like the top three strings, like they don't do like the full bar when they play the skank. Like it's really
Okay, yeah.
How do you feel about that versus like the full bar chord skank? Or just
Well-
like a couple strings, like dick dick.
Well, I feel like that's a whole conversation unto itself because if you're playing real ska guitar, then you don't even do a bar chord. You do like kind of like a C that's a bar chord, but you don't do the top because you don't need the top, right?
And you're supposed to just strum, and you're supposed to strum down. Scatolite's downstrummed, downstroked.
I think it's all about what you're playing and how you're trying to play it. And ultimately, I'm not concerned with how you get the job done as long as the job gets done. Sometimes if I'm listening to it and I can really tell and it doesn't fit, like, I mean, we keep coming back to it, but good God, that fucking clean guitar on that Millencolin, that later Millencolin stuff was so bad. And they were, however that guy was playing it, he was playing it wrong.
One string.
Yeah, I don't know.
High
That
E
was
string.
Not fucking good. But yeah, I mean, just playing power chords isn't the way to go for like a ska sound. But if it's the sound that you're going for, then it's fine.
Okay.
That's the way. That's how I'm
An acceptable answer. Everybody, chime in. How do you like to play ska guitar? Anyway, next song. So speaking of Andiamo is an amazing album. It is very anti-Bush. So if you want something that doesn't really hold up lyric-wise.
Oh, they get real specific about it?
Very specifically. Like a war on errorism, if you will.
Yeah.
They were on Rock Against Bush, so
Not
they
surprising.
were right in there. Yeah. I mean, authority zero. They have zero. They have zero authority? No, they respect zero authority. I think is what it is.
You know what, authority? I respect you, the big fat goose egg.
This song is called Retreat.
A little surfy.
Ooh, I came into the middle, yeah.
Yeah, dub part. No, I love a dub part.
How many dubs you got?
Well, one.
Okay.
Woods. Me. And my last name.
Oh yeah, Woods. How many dubs you got? One in my name.
Yeah.
That was clever.
Yeah.
Pick it
We
up and
don't
run.
get enough. You gotta start picking out the pick it ups.
Yeah.
So we can play that part more often. The song
catchy.
plays like a song that I want to see a band play live.
Oh yeah.
You know, like this album in general, like it sounds good, but it's like I feel like all of these songs would be way more rad if I was right there seeing it.
Yeah.
You know? I like the surf solo.
Right?
Yeah, big fan of surf.
So Andiamo also had their cover of Mexican Radio, which is their absolute most highest streamed song.
The cover's
for sure.
always the most.
The cover. Mexican Radio. Like, who was asking for that? Nobody. So they did it.
The best kind of cover, in my
So
opinion.
the band would follow up this with an album called Rhythm and Booze, which was I remember it being like it sent shockwaves amongst certain ska people. It's an all acoustic ska-ish record, and it was like shocking because they reworked all of their songs to be like super acoustic and like chill vibes.
Okay.
Nobody, I guess, took them as seriously as a ska band until they had done that, and so this was kind of like their breakout moment, I guess. I mean, they were probably well enough popular before, but this is almost like what gave them some legitimacy.
Some ska cred.
Some ska cred. And so I decided to pick the opening track. So this is a rework of their song A Passage in Time, which was like a pretty big punk song from the first
previous
album.
record.
Yeah. Just live.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's gotta be live.
Yeah.
I like that the drummer is just playing normal drums but with tiny cymbals. He was like, oh, we'll just put a splash in there instead of a crash. Acoustic.
It's acoustic. I put blankets in my kick drums. Acoustic drumming. For a drummer, it's just like, how do I make it sound like I don't want to wake the neighbors?
Put a towel over the whole thing. This is all right.
So this is like borderline what people know them for, like, is doing acoustic shit.
That's
like,
kind of sad.
Oddly, like I think there's two versions of Authority Zero out there. There's the like, oh, they're like a punky ska sometimes band, but then there's this thing where like, oh, they're that band that does all that acoustic stuff, and that like might be, I don't know. Maybe I'm casting aspersions, but based on what they contribute to like compilations and stuff, I think that is what makes them the money, is when they do this acoustic stuff.
You know what, though? That's the fact of the matter is the most middle of the road stuff is what usually sells. Yeah. And if you're a punk band and you do acoustic versions of it, that's going to be about as middle of the road as it gets.
And so of course they gotta end their set by, and I don't have it, but you were mentioning it, by playing some kind of weird folk song like Rattlin Bog. Or Patty on the Railway, or Drunken Sailor, and he sings it real fast.
Really fast.
Like,
he gets the audience, like, clapping, like he starts singing.
The Rattlin Bog.
And then by the end, like, the whole crowd is like, and they, like, can't keep up with him.
Yeah.
Go. It's wild. Like,
it is actually
super
funny
impressive.
And interesting, but it is just weird that there's this, like, this political band that like writes like, you know, like anti-flag adjacent material, and they have this weird gimmick at the end of their show.
You know what the problem is?
But who else is doing that?
Like a year ago, the internet was doing it. So the issue is they were just way too far ahead of the curve. That's the thing. Shanties, right? If they would have been able to get on the shanty train when the shanty train was like moving through town, then forget about it. Forget about it.
All right, we'll move along. Next up is from after their first two albums, they went independent. And so 1234 was the name of the album. That was their first like indie release. And it has a song called Sirens. That is a Scottish song. So let's play that.
This is a cool groove. I like this. The bass player is really good.
Very good bass player.
Plays very interesting bass lines. And also I find the singer and the bass player will like harmonize and play more than the guitar does, it seems like. Oh. Just in the songs that we've listened to, which is not something a lot of bands do.
Pretty catchy.
Yeah,
I like
that
song.
Good. Yeah, that's a catchy song.
Wikipedia defines them as a shoegaze band. That's a fun fact.
Do you think they were Vans?
Took a second. Excellent. Yes, I do think they're Vans. So they're a charting band. They've charted on their on Heat Seekers, not on the main Billboard, but it's the next album that they had is one of their biggest one. It was called Stories of Survival, and it was number 5. And it was released on Suburban Noise, which I'm going to hazard a guess is Cottonmouth King's label. It is. Oh. That is Cottonmouth King's label.
What other bands are on that label?
On Suburban Noise? Yeah. Well, I'm going to take a huge guess and say Cottonmouth Kings are on there. Okay, here we go. Head PE.
Ballin'.
So ballin'. You want to talk about rap rock?
Do you know what the PE stands for?
Physical education?
Planet Earth.
Oh, I did know that. I did know that. I had a friend who was like a huge Head. I can't believe that there was somebody that I knew in my life that was like, Head PE is my favorite band.
Yeah.
And it's not like they're like a band I kind of like.
Yeah, I had a friend like before I was even in high school, like who was he really liked Head PE and Drain STH, which is like another kind of
so weird. Yeah. Anyway, that's maybe you're out there. Good for you. Swollen Members is on here.
Oh yeah,
talk about Swollen Members.
Canadian representation, baby, love it.
Long Beach Dub All Stars. Oh, recently they just recently put out stuff on there.
Oh, that's cool though.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at Send Dog's solo album.
That's sweet.
That's fun.
Yeah,
Send Dog. Remember him?
Yeah, Cypress Hill, bro.
Yeah.
I have a vintage Cypress Hill shirt. I'm the weed smoking guy. Of course I know Send Dog.
You remember him? Oh, Broken Side.
Yikes.
Broken Side. The very idea of Broken Side still makes me laugh. Anyway, it's all in that vein. Although Authority Zero doesn't rap, so interesting that they were on there. Anyway, from this album, I pulled the song Remedy, and also with Stories of Survival. I believe the song is called Big Bad World. Yes, that was one of the singles, and it was a pretty big song too. But anyway, I have Remedy. Like probably the most ska they've done up to this point.
Yeah, this is fairly ska.
Yeah.
Man. Bass should just join a marathon. Those walking marathons. Walking so much.
Do a walk run.
Yeah.
Yeah. 10K walk run.
Yeah. 1 foot has to be in contact with the ground at all times. It's cowbell, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're breaking out in song. That's pretty close to cowbell.
That's as close as you're gonna get.
Yeah. That's a fun riff.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's about as good a place to take a breather. Yeah, when we get back, we're gonna do some more Authority Zero.
Pew pew.
Welcome back to Checkered Past. We're talking Authority Zero from Phoenix, Arizona, or thereabouts. And we are now entering their next album called The Tipping Point, which was released in 2013. And it was on a different label. It was on Hardline Entertainment, which is Pennywise's record label. Coming
Really?
around full
I had no
circle.
idea.
Well, one of the it says
I
here.
just had no idea Pennywise had one. I thought they were on Epitaph forever.
I think this is a vanity label from the guitar guy, Fletcher.
Oh, Fletcher's label. Okay, that kind of makes sense, yeah.
So, yeah, I wouldn't say it's like the most...
Subsidiary? Is it a subsidiary of like Epitaph or something?
What a great question. Doesn't Beer so? Appears to be its own deal.
Cool.
That's fun.
Yeah.
All right, so the song I have from there is... Oh, wait. Oh, no. Before we go that, sorry, I made a mistake. There was a second Rhythm and Booze album that had come out before that one. So on a different label, Viking Funeral Records. So the song that I pulled from there is Liberate Education. So this is, again, another album that they did. Every 2 albums or so, they do a Rhythm and Booze where it's all acoustic. So let's hear this one.
Get this thing rolling. Rhythm and Booze 2. Let's rhythm more booze. Have a great time tonight. This song's called Liberate Education.
A little bit more production value.
Yeah, this one sounds like the other one sounded okay, but this sounds much better.
This sounds like they're a full-fledged popular band with money to spend on a show.
Yeah, it sounds less like they plugged into the board and more like they recorded a live show.
Yeah.
time the pain will be victorious through you. Proud and dismantled, though far from the truth. Been taken back, I'm gonna take it back when I was convinced.
It doesn't sound as sloppy either.
No.
Yeah.
Out of this hole, and buried alive, light is shining through. Can you see me?
I mean, this one's kind of fallen into the grandpa guitar fucking category for me, personally.
So here we go again.
No, this is that change is good. I like this.
The actual song is better. Rhythm and Boost 2. Not good.
So not great.
Not my favorite. Don't love it. Yeah, it gets into the grandpa guitar scenario way too fast. Like, the first one I like because they basically just ska reggae everything.
Right.
This one is like, they're like dicking around being like, look at this player fucking guitar. I'm just hanging out at this coffee shop singing you my songs. And it's like, but in front of like 1,000 people.
Yeah, the energy's not quite the same.
Anyway, that's my professional critique is I don't love it. Don't listen to it. It's not my favorite. You can like it.
Who'da thunk Rob not being into the acoustic record?
Yeah, apparently we're making enemies saying that, but
I know.
whatever.
It is what it is.
So from this Tipping Point album, the song's called Struggle. So let's play that. Let's just dive right in since I fucked up.
You got the strength, you got the drive, just steering it all. You got the vision, got the mindset, now above and beyond. But can you take it and depend on yourself when the time comes? You cannot fake it, it's a truth of the matter that calls you. You got the patience, got the words at your tongue. You're in the belly of the beast of what you have become. But can you take it and depend on yourself when the time comes? You cannot fake it, it's a truth of the matter that calls you. The strength, yeah. You got the drive to steer it all.
I like this. This has got like some energy to it, you know?
Yeah. I feel like I listened to this record once. I don't remember anything sticking out. This one might have been a miss for me. I can't remember, but it also could have been a point in time. I generally will listen to a New Authority Zero record and just like give it a go because they're usually dependable.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
This one didn't stick with me as much.
It sounds the same, but I don't know, it's kind of a vague descriptor, but a little more mature, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's maybe a little less boozy.
Yeah. A little more rhythmy?
A little
Was there-
more on the rhythm, less on the booze.
Okay. That's good.
Maybe they're afraid of spilling the booze into their electric instruments, so they only do the rhythm and blues with acoustic instruments. Because if you spill a beer into like an acoustic guitar, it's just a sloshy guitar. It doesn't wreck the electronics, you know?
No, what the fuck are you talking about?
Nothing.
I feel like you started talking and you're just like, I can make this go for probably 20 seconds.
had to run that song out.
Actually, thank you. I think that was kind of like lost me a little bit. I was like, okay. The next song I have queued up is from the Rancid tribute album, Hooligans United, an album I love. I love that record.
And I like this
really
song
good.
a lot.
And this is their cover of I Wanna Riot, the classic Beavis and Butthead song. And hot damn, this is a good cover. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Got a little like Western swingy almostness to it.
Yeah.
Like thoughtful arrangement.
Man, when Authority Zero said, "Oi," I really felt that. Get the beat down.
It's also one of like the best Rancid songs.
Yeah, dude, the Long Beach Dub All Stars version is like the Rancid Long Beach version is so good.
Rancid Stubborn All Stars.
Stubborn All Stars,
Stubborn
sorry,
All
not
Stars.
Long Beach. So we were
Yeah.
talking about Long
Yeah.
Beach earlier. That's why I got them screwed up. But yes, that's
Stubborn.
that version of that song
Yeah.
is so good.
Yeah. I wanna riot.
Ballsy move adding more notes to a Matt Freeman bass line.
Yeah, right.
Ballsy move.
That's like so like that cover album opens with so it does the 1-2 cover of the first two songs from Out Come the Wolves. So Maxwell Murder and then 12th Hour, right?
Yeah.
And so Anti-Flag does the Maxwell Murder cover, which is basically Chris or sorry, who plays bass in Anti-Flag? Not Chris, right? Or is it one of the Chris's?
I don't know.
I can't remember. And he basically is just trying to show off that he can play the same, like
Right. He can play the
that he
Maxwell
can
Murder
also
solo.
play Maxwell Murder. Like he's like, look, I can also do this ridiculously fast bass song, and then it's followed up with the Interrupters cover of 11th Hour.
Oh, that's good.
And they like ska-fi it up, and it's like peak Interrupters. It's a really solid cover. And then this was like the opposite. It's like look how we can play this song, but maybe make it better. Anyway,
Maybe.
Hooligans United. It's like a long ass album, and it's super super good.
Yeah, there's like 35, 40 tracks on it.
It's so good.
So crazy.
The next one is from the album Broadcasting the Nations, which came out in 2017 on Bird Attack Records.
Is that Frenzel Rom?
Ooh, let's find out. Bird Attack. While I'm looking this up, why don't we play the song Revolution Riot? Oh, 2 Riot songs in a row.
Ooh. You guys love a good riot. Oh, no pun at all. Oh, no, it looks like it's from Florida. That wouldn't be Frenzel Rom's
Rom, no.
record.
Oh, that would be funny.
Record label, because they have a song called Bird Attack, so
Yeah.
this is pretty tight.
This album rules.
Yeah,
Broadcasting the Nation is really good.
Something about the way they're playing this is just way tighter and more cohesive.
Very
than
urgent.
Previous stuff. Like, I feel like the previous stuff, the looseness was like helping it. Like it made it a little more punk rock, but this is like clean and this sounds really good.
Very straight ahead.
Yeah.
I would say this is probably the easiest record to get into because there's less wankeriness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Easy hooks. Perfect. Like
Yeah, that's great.
just a perfect song. Like I like a good bells and whistles song, but sometimes just get in, get out, make it happen. Makes it just makes you want to come back for it.
Oh yeah.
So now I know you were really asking to make sure that there were more Rhythm and Booze albums. But guess what? There's a third one.
Boy, yes.
This one is bananas. I also think that it's a tough listen, but there's a full fucking band and a horn section that plays on it. So I pulled a song from there.
So they went with a bigger band and quieter guitars.
Yeah.
Okay.
Destiny and Demise is the song I pulled off of Rhythm and Booze 3. Oh, and an organ.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah.
It just doesn't need to be an acoustic guitar at this point.
And I think this would have been sick if this was like all kind of like ska and reggae, but it's not. They also dick around a lot. Like it's just like they're like we're gonna have like all these organ fills, but it makes it sound like I don't know Muzak a little bit. Yeah. Which like in anticipation of an episode coming up, I'm listening to the specials a lot, and it's giving me some the worst elements of the specials. So, but this is very, very serviceable, and the horns are a nice touch. Like I'll say that mixes it up enough.
I liked the organ in there. Like I wish they would have been the same instrumentation, but just like a full like their regular stuff, but with that added in instrumentation.
Wouldn't that be cool?
That would have been great.
Yeah, they're almost due to do that. Like I would actually be really interested in a Rhythm and Booze studio where they can actually like make it sound nice and
you know
full.
what? I'd be more into that, I think.
Yeah.
Because I think maybe part of my issue with it is acoustic guitars in a live setting like that, no matter how they're plugged in or put into a PA, they just don't have the presence that an electric guitar has.
Yeah.
The skanks don't cut the way like a clean electric guitar does. The big power chordy parts don't punch the way a distorted electric guitar does. It just doesn't fill out the sound for me as well. Whereas if they were in a studio doing the same thing, they could do a little magic on it and make that stuff happen. I'd probably enjoy it more, but it's not for me. So,
well, and I mean, I'm sure it would be different if I was there and, you know, like everyone was getting stoned and, you know, there's just like weed smoke in the air.
Yep.
Probably would be a vibe.
Yeah, probably would be.
But I don't know if it's like as great on record. Anyway, that's me. And that's Joey. And we're Checkered Past. And the next album is called they're prolific. We've gone through a lot of albums, I'm saying.
Yeah, how many albums is so far?
Well, how many do I have queued? 12? So they've had 12.
Holy shit.
3 live rhythm and boozes and 9 studio albums.
That's wild.
Since 2002. They give her, man. Like
what's even crazier
Yeah.
is they spent like 8 years not putting anything
Yeah,
out, and
and
then
then
they
they
spent
put out
the
an
rest
album
of the
every
time.
2 years.
That's crazy.
Isn't that wild? So anyway, Persona Non Grata is this next one. Released on on a completely different label again, Concrete Jungle Records. Specials reference, geez. The song I have is called Back from the Dead. And this song is very good. Very good.
Oh, did you hear that vibro slap?
I did. Guess that percussion instrument. You know what I should do is like make a playlist of like all their ska stuff, not their rhythm and blues, but just like from their albums. I think that'd be a cool pseudo album
Yeah, totally. Like a Ska Boy JFK, but for
Authority Zero.
Yeah, that's a sweet song.
Yeah, I kind of talked over it, but
It was
great.
good. Yeah.
And then, so that album was 2018, 1 year after the one before that. And now, would it shock you to know they put out an album last year?
No, not knowing that they put out an album every freaking 2 years.
So it shocks me. Goddamn podcast. Fucking listening to ska all the time. People send me goddamn ska all the time.
Oh, yeah. I
And
guess
nobody
it's
even talked
wild.
about it.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Like,
to be
what?
honest.
But I know, like, yeah, last year was crazy for ska, and there's so much coming out that I get it, that, like, an Authority Zero record is probably not high stakes compared to, like, you know, Flying Raccoon Suits album or, like, Catbite. Like, there was just so many big albums last year.
Also, I
like,
feel like this band may fall into a similar category that I consider bands like Death by Stereo or Strung Out in, where they kind of fall in between a genre, so they might not get exposure
Right.
to both genres. You know what I mean? Like Death by Stereo they're a hardcore band, but they're a metal band, and it's really hard to pick where they fit. So I feel like a lot of metal fans don't listen to them, and a lot of hardcore fans don't listen to them. So like I feel like Authority Zero kind of
yeah.
straddles that line between like skate punk and ska enough that like maybe they don't really get in the ears of ska folks that much, and maybe not as much into punk people as well, because they're kind of in the middle, right?
And I'll give them this. They're a bunch of white dudes, man.
Yeah.
A bunch of like white dudes. Like maybe I'm wrong about that. I should like double check, but I'm like 90% sure they're like and I'm just looking at pictures of them. They give off real dude energy. And that doesn't fly as well as a more exciting, more diverse band would, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
I don't know if they're saying anything different that wasn't said in 2002 when they put out their first record. You know what I mean? Again, they're dependable. You know what you're getting for when you listen to it, but is it exciting for, especially if you're a new fan or a new listener? Maybe not. Maybe it's not
like,
offering anything new.
Have they fallen into like that legacy act kind of?
And it's funny because they came out as the band that was like, we're the young version of the Legacy Act.
Right.
But now they've become old enough.
But now
to
the
be
Legacy Act, the Legacy Act is like some cool classic rock stations are starting to play those Legacy acts.
Yeah,
so.
like when classic rock stations are playing Basket Case.
Yeah.
We're in a different, we've gone through the looking glass.
Yes.
So their most recent album was called Ollie Ollie Oxen Free, and I picked the song Ear to Ear because it features the Japanese ska band Hey Smith on there.
Cool.
Yeah. Hey Smith's record on Asian Man is amazing, by the way. You should listen to it. Very skate punky as well.
What do they make the hay out of?
Hay's at the farm.
Yeah, but they're hay smiths, so what do they like?
Have you ever heard that thing before? You say when people say hey and you say hay's at the farm. It's like a thing you say to kids.
Oh, like hay is for horses.
Yeah, hay is for horses. Hay's at the farm. Hay's for horses. Yeah.
This is pretty good.
You would dig the Hey Smith record. That would be an album you would enjoy.
Yeah.
More crappy bass playing.
Yeah. It's terrible.
Your biggest takeaway from this is their singer is very talented. Their bass player plays ludicrously fast, and they're very dependable. So if you like what you hear, you could probably just grab an Authority Zero record and enjoy it. Andiamo is the one that most people get into. Very good, awesome album. Broadcasting to the Nations is maybe my favorite.
To be honest, when my coworker was just playing that, this is Authority Zero Radio or whatever, like this their generous Spotify generated podcast or playlist for their band. It was pretty good. It was all of the songs that I remembered hearing from a variety of records. So yeah.
Yeah. It's just hard to like sell it to anybody who's like looking for something exciting.
It really is something that like is a lot easier to sell to someone in their approaching 40 who are like, hey, remember like Face to Face and stuff? And here's a band that's kind of like that, but ska. Like
Face to Face is another band that kills in Edmonton. They were at the last Warped Tour that was here in Edmonton. And I know we're at time on the pod, but they played a song. I can't even remember. Like I don't know any Face to Face songs. They're good. I just
ordinary.
Like, they're just
disconnected.
Yeah. That's how I
more of them.
That's the type of music that they play, and that's my feeling when they play.
Yes,
they're ordinary and disconnected. Anyway, but they put on a good live show, and they played a song, and like they stopped playing because the crowd literally sang the entire song, like one of those moments.
Edmonton will do that. Yep.
And like they were like blown away. They were like, we were just in Seattle, Washington, and we got rocks thrown at us and we were booed off the stage because we weren't playing the type of music that these other kids are playing out here, right? Because it was like one of the last Warped Tours that was in Canada and was like, you know, a lot of emo and pop punk stuff and metalcore, and so the kids at the time weren't
Edmonton
vibing.
Is an old growth punk scene,
very much so.
It's like an old forest that nobody ever cut down. No. For punk fans. Not so great if you're a new tree that's trying to grow in Edmonton. But if you're one of those old trees that's been around for a gajillion years, killing it in Edmonton.
Yeah, I think that's telling. But I mean, that means that, you know, if you're that kind of band, you'll come up here. And for them, it's probably awesome.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably awesome that there's like a haven in the middle of fucking nowhere that you can go to, play an awesome 200-300 person show, like have a hero's welcome.
Yeah.
Like it'd probably be worth the drive.
I say it kind of sarcastically, but like I go to all those shows. I love all those bands. Like that's my that style of music, like that era of punk rock was my launching point into music, really. So like when Face to Face comes, or like I've seen Face to Face 3-4 times.
They play here all the time.
Yeah, I love like they're a great band.
We saw who did we see? We saw No Fun at All at the Starlight Room. And
I don't think I went to that one. You did. I'm pretty sure I missed that one.
You didn't go to that one? I thought you were there. So Ariane was there for sure.
Yeah.
I think maybe it was like 50 people there. And I just remember, though, like there were people just losing their shit. Like I'm a kind of a wallflower at shows unless it's like a true ska song. And I was just drinking my beer.
Just hangs out with
and
one
I was
headlight.
Like,
You just hang out with one headlight because you're a
wallflower?
wallflower.
Wallflowers. Okay. Is that the... Sean Lennon's
Jacob
band?
Dylan.
Jacob Dylan, not Sean Lennon. Other famous kid.
Yeah.
And so This guy just like was like sweaty from moshing, and he ran up to me and he's like, "Get closer to the stage. They flew all the way from fucking Sweden to play for you." And I was like, "Yeah, that's Edmonton punk show energy right there."
You're like, that's fair, but they have my money already.
Yeah, I was like, and they're doing a very good job. I'm enjoying this. All right, there we did it. We did it. Authority 0. Put it in the bag.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to Checkered Past. Hit us up on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Checkered Past Pod, or send us an email at checkeredpastpod@gmail.com. To support the podcast, you can sign up for the Checkerhead Patreon to get the episodes uncut in both audio or video format. Or you can buy some merch at checkeredpast.ca. Please like, subscribe, and tell your friends. Rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. This episode is produced and engineered by Joey.
That's me.
Who also makes the playlist featuring music from today's episode. Our TromBonus theme was provided by
Keelan, a good friend, at Keelan Mallow Smith on the tweets.
And next week, we will have a very special episode. So until next time, I'm Rob.
And I'm Joey.
And in the mortal words of Authority 0, think about the promise that kept you wandering in time. Don't you know that they kept you walking and wandering in time?